Spent about 4 years living as game programmer for hire. It's hard to get burned if you have going rates and get paid before the final delivery. It depends, though, because, like, if you're working as a freelance programmer... Well, I mean, so part of it is, oh, it's this guy. I forgot he talks to you. He's just saying, like, have you noticed everything's different? Island's alive. What do you make of this? Here's your gold. Well, I guess we might as well... Oh, that's interesting. I think you got to get the rune or whatever first before you can get the quick bow. Oh, no. We got to be, we've got to have the other setup here. Oh, right. I forgot my stats are cheesy business. Oh, we don't even get this here. Okay, so yeah, let's set our stats back up to, oops, stats back to 1. Okay, there we go. I shouldn't be crazy overpowered. Perfect. There we go. So I'm not going to have 11 strength going into this, which would be funny, but I don't want to do that. So yeah, we're probably going to be doing really heavy strength builds until we can get some better items. Oh, that's okay. I guess I'll get the flashbang. Why is everything cheap? I don't know. Yeah, so the one counterpoint to, like, programming for hire is, because of the way kind of the industry works, programmers and whatnot have generally always been, like, paid substantially better than any other element of the industry. So, and this is going to sound kind of, like, shitty, but you guys are generally the lucky ones. I got hired at a studio for $10 an hour. And one of my friends got hired at the same studio for 20, and I was like, what's he do that I can't? And the answer is programming. And I was like, is that it? Is he, like, objectively better than me? No. Right. I mean, ultimately, whatever. It's how the industry works, and doesn't bug me that much. I just, every once in a while I get that, like, reminder. It's like, you are objectively less of a person, because art, I guess, question mark? Do I want the twin daggers? I don't know if I want the twin daggers. Let's see. Yeah, I'll get the grenade. Poison the victim at the very least. Okay. If I remember right, there's one time I had did the fight against the Watcher and took like half my health in one hit from him. Yeah, I think they nerfed the Watcher's damage substantially. Since the days of yore. Okay, so we still can't rub that thing. Okay, and we want... I don't know. I guess let's put it into health and stuff like that. Is it supply or demand of skills? More artists than programmers. Nope. There are generally less artists than programmers. Depending on the product. I don't know, it varies. Movies generally have more artists than anything else. The main problem is, with programmers, this is gonna kind of sound weird. Artists, historically, have never gotten paid that much. So it was easy to continue not paying artists that much going into the games industry. Whereas programmers are new, and... for the most part, programmers were actually the ones that started the game design companies. So when it came down to it, programmers could hire the game designers, or not the game designers, the game artists, and pay them less, because you got to cut costs somewhere, and the artists generally were an easy way to do it. And also, there's like historically the notion that like artists aren't as skilled as programmers are. And like at this point we're starting to get into like heavy controversy territory, just because a lot of people may disagree with me on this, but like it takes just about as much work to be a good artist as a good programmer, if not more. But you're valued less for it because art is considered to be less valuable, period. And I mean, it's true. Do we want to go? Yeah, we want to go to the toxic sewers probably. Yeah, art is very important, but you could argue that without the proper programming, a game couldn't exist, period. but for the most part, it's just because there's kind of this unspoken thing of, yeah, you just don't pay the artists as much, and it's just always been that way. It's why, here's another example. Within, like, tech industry, IT is incredibly valuable. IT is, like, super crazy valuable, and you absolutely need to, have, like, a large IT department for almost every project, company, whatever, because if you don't, your entire company is doomed. But IT consistently is paid rather poorly and treated really poorly. And you get a bunch of people that, like, outsource and stuff like that. And it's really stupid because... Oh, damage on a stun target. Oh, that's neat. It's really stupid because, like, you can't afford that. One, like, breach or, like, loss of files or whatever, and your company goes down. I love to read Tales from Tech Support. Because, like, here's a bunch of people, with, like, kind of really interesting stories, honestly. But one kind of plot point, I guess, that you get over and over and over again is, you know, other people looking down on them, and I'm just like, you really shouldn't be doing this. Without these guys, your business folds. What was it? I mean, here's a good, no, this is a bit politically charged. It's a good example of a company that went under because of the IT. I mean, maybe not under, but, like, there's a lot of companies that have specifically, had, like, serious breaches and had to, like, pay major consequences for it. Maybe not as much as they should. But, like, Sony for... the PSN was down for, like, almost a month a couple of years ago. Because they really did not have robust enough IT to deal with the, that hacking that was being, like, thrown their way. What's another good example? I don't know. I'm terrible at examples. My memory is generalized information, not specific stuff. But it always just bugs me to hear about this, because, like, this is an equally valuable, like, service as part of this company. And generally it's one of the most looked down upon. Oh, shoot. I actually had a friend, Pocket Pack, for the first couple of years of YouTubing. And he was a IT guy for a non-profit. I think he was the head of their systems administration or whatever. But he was, you know, fairly... Jesus. Another Assassin's Dagger. Taking it. He was, you know, fairly important for the company. And... they took his entire team away. And we're just like, you're just going to have to deal with this on, you know, your own. Because, you know, we don't see you really working that much. You guys are just sitting around in this room. And he's just like, that's not how this works at all. This is a terrible idea. And they're like, nah, this is fine. Let's pump it into skills. Let's go glass cannon Grenadier build. I need some more money to get the grenade. Okay, yeah, let's futz with our skills a little bit. Okay, so skill multiplier should be at 5. And attack multiplier is going to be at 1. There we go. But yeah, so they cut all of his other positions and or all of his coworkers from the company, and then cut him. And then a couple months later, he gets a call being like, all of our shit's broken, we don't know why, come help. You know, you ran this, you need to come help us fix this. And he's just like, nope, I've got a baby on the way. I've got more important things to help you sort out than help you sort out your mess. Unless you pay me like crazy amounts of money. And I don't think he heard back from them, I don't know. This is about the point I stopped talking to him, so it's just like, well. But I don't know, it just always grinds my gears when I hear stories like that. When people are, like, super valuable to the company and then are not paid well. But then again, there's kind of the reverse, where, like, let's take the BioWare example, where, like, with Mass Effect Andromeda, I don't know what the deal was there. Oh, yeah, it was outsourcing, actually. Outsourcing is terrible for the entire industry. You really don't want to do it unless it's like in-house outsourcing and stuff like that. And even then, that's like a risky procedure. A lot of game studios do that. If you ever see like a game has like 4 companies behind it, it's usually because, you know, they had, you know, Obsidian doing, I don't know, basic gameplay programming or whatever. But they're not the like main designers. Let's see. But, like, for Mass Effect Andromeda, half the reason why that game failed, comparatively, is because they didn't take it seriously, and they didn't actually, like, have people do their jobs and take their time. They're just like, no, we're just gonna have everybody, kind of rush this project. And it turned out bad. And I was kind of fascinated watching all of the videos, like going through and labeling it as a train wreck. They also, geez, sometimes I will admit I also get like a little bit pissy at artists because some of them get kind of like high horsey, but I guess everybody does. But there was like a big controversy about one of the lead animators being effectively a greenhorn at BioWare, and it's just like, ooh, you don't want to do that. You don't want to hire a bunch of like newbie artists to do like well, to lead a big project. That's a terrible idea. Never do that. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, it also does kind of suck as a new artist trying to get into the industry. That's always consistently been a serious problem. Have we already finished this level? There's like a oh, there's a teleporter, so I can't even do that. Old sewers it is. Oh yeah, actually, speaking of IT and whatnot, I guess going back to BioWare. And, I mean, it's not just BioWare, there's tons of companies that are guilty of this. Oh, right, I should probably spend my cells. Whenever a game fails, there's a lot of finger pointing. You know, a game does not, Art is unreliable, sorry all artists. That is the least defensible point you could have possibly made. Yeah, that is terrible. I don't even have a rebuttal for that. Hey, you! Come here, over here for a bit. A little slow, but you seem to understand what I'm saying. I lost my rune, so you see I'm a little stuck. I need my rune, you see. You wouldn't mind finding it for me now, would you? Ho-ho, thank you. Somewhere around these sewers, on your side of these bars. Bring it to me now. Okay, but yeah, whenever a game fails, generally the first people to get thrown under the bus are the people that worked QA on the game. And I don't know how many of you guys have actually like looked into how QA works, but QA is generally a bunch of underpaid, a largely low experience, you know, 20-somethings, generally, crammed into tiny, like, no air-conditioned rooms with Xboxes told to do the same shitty action for, like, 6 hours and stuff like it. But, generally, these guys are supposed to, like, test everything and test it to the point where it goes insane. Or, like, people go insane. It's got one of the highest turnover rates in the entire games industry. I did not know they could jump across like that. That's a new one. But so, QA will oftentimes find problems. Like, I can more than, I would bet a fair amount of money that QA, along the way, with Mass Effect Andromeda, saw the problems and were like, hey, by the way, the faces look terrible. Like, they're glitching out here. This lady has lazy eyes and even looking at the player model. The camera just decided to fly off to the moon, so on and so forth. And chances are they got ignored completely. The report was just marked as, like, you know, not a problem. QA is there generally to look for game-breaking bugs, if even, and everything else is you know, not a problem, because deadlines are a huge thing in the games industry. That's why I like, oh, gotta make sure my skill points go up a little bit. But, let's see. It's why I like, companies like Naughty Dog, for example, that generally take their time. They're like, yeah, the game will be done when it's done. Nintendo's another great example here, where they don't rush the product just to release on time. And so you end up with some studios that come out with generally perfect games, and some studios that are just like, well, this is a buggy mess, and then they just throw their QA under the bus being like, well, they didn't test hard enough. It's like, no, they probably did. You guys are just short-sighted and didn't care to actually fix your problems. And then, of course, do you guys remember, I guess a lot of you guys probably never read about it, but back in, I want to say, like 2008, 2009, there was another controversy. Tonight is the controversy night of things that I have no actual experience in. But there was EA Mom. I think it was EA Mom, or EA Spouse. That was the one. Extra damage on a burning target. Ooh. Yeah, let's get it. EA Spouse was a thing. Forget which one. There was one Assassin's Creed game that had bad faces. That was Unity. Unity had terrible faces. And that was very definitively one where, aha! There you are. It's here. You'll find it. I mean, my rune! What? No, you have nothing to fear. You made it all this way. You're not going to chicken out now. So, go on! Okay, let's Grenadier this sucker to death. Assassin's Creed Unity was riddled with bugs. Least of all... There we go. Just waited to blast him there. But, like, they threw those people under the bus. Yeah, the EA Spouse thing was just talking about how people in the games industry would be there working crunch hours for, like, years and stuff like that. Side point, KOTOR 2 and his whole problem never being completed. Okay, I want to get back to the EA Spouse thing, but seeing as the KOTOR thing was brought up. So I don't know how many of you guys know about contracted games and how those work. KOTOR is a special beast. If any of you guys have ever played any of... Well, I don't know how many of you guys know who Obsidian are. But they're quite possibly some of the better developers out there. They made New Vegas, despite New Vegas. Which is kind of a special achievement because, like, Bethesda really did not give them nearly enough time to make New Vegas. But they did it, and it was actually fairly impressive. But also a bug-riddled mess because they had, I want to say, 3/4 of a year to release the game or something insane like that. They, like, had no time to put the game together, and they managed to make an absolutely amazing game despite that. That's an issue where the publisher decided to... I mean, effectively, New Vegas... They didn't give a shit about New Vegas. They're just like... BioWare... Not BioWare. Bethesda very clearly was just like, well, Fallout 3 did really well. Let's make a crappy... let's have Obsidian make a crappy cash grab game. And, you know, milk the industry for all it's worth. Lucky for us, Obsidian gives a dang and actually makes good games. Even when, you know, they really, really should not have been able to. But same thing happened with KOTOR 2. It was an absolutely wonderful game in conceptually. But BioWare sat down and was just like, nah, you have like a year or whatever to make it. And they're like, but we need like 2 or maybe 3. And they're like, nah, you got a year. And it's like, hey, over here. I saw you fight. Not bad at all. Did you find it? Excellent. Now give it to me. I said. Give it to me! I knew it. You're just like all the rest. You're going to regret this. Whee! Now that it'd be hilarious if that was the incomplete one. Or if the incomplete one changed once we met him. That would actually be cool too. I actually had friends that worked on New Vegas. Going back to the unpaid internship thing. I had a friend that specifically was a producer for New Vegas. Two friends. One was kind of an intern and the other was actively working there. And yeah, I know there's the plus health on the map. I just missed it earlier. But they said it was awesome because, you know, it was a really fun game and Obsidian makes great games and it was like this really cool work environment. And then like partway through it's just like, by the way, you have half the time that you planned for. And by the way, we expected in half that time because, you know, Bethesda has to check over everything and make sure it's consistent. And by the way, because it didn't... I think one of the greatest sins also of this, for those of you that don't know, is Obsidian's deal for just a little bit more money. Well, we might still be able to make it. And one of the biggest problems with it is Obsidian, I think, was supposed to get up to a 85% on like Metacritic or some aggregate review score. They had to earn X amount score-wise. And if they got 85%, let's go with the Nutcracker. I'm not even going to be using it that much. But if they got the 85%, they get a bonus. I don't remember what the bonus was, but it was actually like a decent amount of money. Whoops. It was a decent amount of money, and they got an 84. Which, God, that must have sucked so hard. But that was just so scummy to hear about, and I felt so bad. And that's why I buy every Obsidian product and try and do a Let's Play on it, even if I never succeed. Eh. Okay, do we have anything else? I think this is the entrance over here. Watch that guy's future boss. I hope so. Oh, it's just this guy. Don't care. But yeah, nice part is Obsidian no longer does contracted games, comparatively. For the most part, Obsidian makes their own games now, which is great. Could have paid for one more game critic to raise the score. I absolutely... That trend sucks. I will admit I'm specifically, personally, very leery about sponsored videos from anybody other than fans. I don't really like the idea of a developer throwing money at me to cover a game. It feels dishonest. And I'll probably end up doing it. I'm just eternally afraid that I'm going to end up with a game oh, interesting. Yeah, the grenades do not heal you back. You only heal with a melee attack. Brain. Lost it. Okay, yeah. I absolutely do not want to be put in a position where I'm paid to promote a game that I absolutely despise. Because I don't think I could do that. And I mean, I could probably do it if I had like Bird there. Maybe. But even then, the dishonesty of it would bug the hell out of me. Generally, if I don't like a game, I'm going to say it, whether or not, like, people are even going to remotely agree with me on that one. Okay, so that's the... Oh, that's the Impaler. Okay, so I'm done with the Impaler. The obvious caveat here is, the whole, like, fan Patreon sponsored video thing. I kind of like the idea of that because it's like, here, Wander, play this game. Here's some money to, like, pay for it and, you know, make it worth your while. And I'm like, sweet, terrible game. And then I play the terrible game, and it is truly terrible. And I don't have to, like, control my opinion of it. Though sometimes I feel a little bit bad if somebody's, like, really excited about this. But, what's a good example? Like, when I'm playing a game and, I guess Fury is a good example. I got Fury for free, and I covered Fury, and I hated Fury. Fury was not fun. And I've had a lot of people actually tell me over the years that Fury was one of the first videos they ever saw, and they watched like a couple minutes of it and then decided to never watch my channel again, and I'm like, that sucks. But totally understandable. Okay, gonna see if I can switch things on a bit. So we don't care about gold. I'm gonna try and turn that back on. Okay, so skill should be up to, oops, 7? And this should be at like 2. I think this. Fury is a pretty good game. Yeah, but I absolutely hated Fury. Oh shoot, there was a shield that I should have gotten. Whatever. I didn't like Fury at all. I thought it was too hard for me to be able to complete. And so I decided to put Fury on an easier difficulty, thinking, hey, you know, I'm just going to go through it on the easier difficulty and have like a more casual experience. I didn't realize the easy difficulty was just straight up baby mode. I was like, I would prefer a game that's just like easy difficulty, which is, I'm not actually sure if my my stats are triggering the change here. That's an interesting problem. Okay, I might have... Well, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, bullet hell games are hard. Yeah, exactly. I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. And at the time, I was just like, I don't really want to play like this ultra hard thing. I don't like playing a game where I have to fight a boss like 7 times to finally beat it. It's why I've never specifically played Bloodborne. I'm trying to hack my strength down so my skill can be good. But I think my hack tool is frozen. I think I got to restart it between runs here. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, I didn't want to go through the pain and suffering that was required to actually beat that game, just because I didn't find it particularly compelling. But I did want to play it because, like, I wanted to see what was at the end. And then you get to the end, and then it's just like, by the way, the ending here is hell, because it's back up to a higher difficulty. And it's like, what? No, I don't know. I also had the same problem with Enter the Gungeon. I like the idea of Enter the Gungeon, but I absolutely cannot, for the life of me, play it. I find it's just hard enough, mainly just due to the lack of ammo and that stupid don't take a hit or you lose the ability to get bonus life. I found that whole system to be so mind-bogglingly frustrating that I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Which is why, you know, I totally stopped with that one. Okay. Now, have you figured your stats list out? Can I wonder if it's like kind of busted here. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to close this every single time we get there. Well, I guess I'll just do the run regardless. And mess with that. Oh, wait, no, there we go, we got it. Okay, so I'm gonna set my skill up by 4. And my attack Down by 4. I am not going to be able to do anything in melee. But boy, are things going to explode. Glass cannon. Well, I guess not really glass. Oh, dude, we should do a glass cannon run after this now that I'm thinking about it. Okay. Yeah, there we go. This is gonna be enjoyable. Grenadier. Boop, boop. Oh God. This might bit unfair. I totally understand why the developers don't let you min-max as much as I'd like, because this game is not designed for allowing the player that much choice. Whee!